Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to another time here. Welcome to another time in the book club. We'll get to read a book, and the book we're reading right now was "Business is Personal" by Bethany Frankel. We've been doing this for some months now. We're gonna go on to chapter 9 today. There are a total of 13 chapters in the book, so we're going on to chapter 9 today. And we're going to do it in two parts. So we're going to take the first part today, do a general discussion on life as a whole, challenges of life, and how to overcome. And next week we'll go into it and probably look at specific examples. That's the way Bethany's book is written. She took examples, on the second part of that chapter. So we're going to do the first discussions today, and we'll come back next week and probably go into more specific examples. Obviously, when I talk, I get to give examples from my own personal life. So we'll see how that applies as we talk today. But we'll do more of that coming next week. So welcome to another time here. All righty. So let's go into what we have today is chapter 9, the first part, and the title Bethany gives to it is Run the Marathon. Pretty much talking about the fact that life is a marathon, right? Life is not a sprint. It's not 100 meters, 200 meters, 300 meters, 400 meters. It's a marathon, right? You can imagine I've been in the work of faith the last 40 years, right? So I can imagine if that was a marathon, if that was just a sprint. No, it's not. 40 years, man, it's a marathon. And I still have a whole lot of years ahead of me. If I'd used up all my energy, I wouldn't be here today, right? But 40 years represents a time of ups and downs, mountains, valleys, plateaus, disappointments, depression, elation, heaven, hell, light, darkness, wealth, losing a lot of money, making money, being a blessing to people, and I'm gonna be 56 this year. That's a long time. Also, there's just life on its own. Then to sprint, right? I have a lot of young people that have no clue what age looks like, but they'll find out. They'll find out. But I have the benefit of having been through my teens, my young adulthood, my 30s, my 40s, and here I'm in my 50s going into my 60s. That's life. That's life. It just is what it is, and we don't give up. We don't just live today and forget about tomorrow, right? Everything that we do needs to be done in such a way that we have continuous uh improvement, right? It's something that is I'm looking for that word that we used to use for it, but everything we do needs to be such that it doesn't end today, but it has a continuity for tomorrow, right? We need strength for today. We need strength for tomorrow. Tomorrow, right? It's we don't exhaust everything today. Like I popularly talk about what we call the parable of the virgins, right? That we'll see in the Bible, right? And it talks about a set of virgins that were foolish, foolish because they only planned for the short term. They did not plan for the long term. And that's why a lot of people live their lives. I got to give the example, when I was in the university, right? And I left university in 1990, and I had people, who taught the world would end, and they were not even reading their books, right? They were doing everything saying, oh, the world would end, it won't be this. But that's 33 years ago. The world hasn't ended. I'm sure they got their senses back. You know, life has to be lived preparing for not just the short term, but for the long term, right? And that's what that parable teaches us about the foolish and the wise virgin. The only difference between them was that some had oil, but did not have extra oil. The other had both oil and extra oil. They were preparing for the long term, right? Everything in life you have to prepare, not just for the short term, but for the long term. That is what is called wisdom. You have to live your life as if that's all you today, as if that's all you have. But you have to prepare for tomorrow. You also are in doing that, right? Otherwise, you're going to be a failure in life. Life is not a sprint, life is a marathon, right? And you must prepare to win up until your dying day when you leave here. If all you do is prepare just for today, tomorrow, 10 years, you're going to be a failure because you're going to live past 10 years, right? Got to prepare for the life journey, which you don't know, right? It's a continuous, never ending, right? Preparedness, as it were. You're prepared for that long journey that you don't even know because no one tells you when you're gonna leave this place. At the same time, you gotta prepare for the visible future, whether it be your 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 1 year from now, 1 month from now, 1 week from now, right? It's the beginning of another week, right? We need to prepare for this week, right? I gotta prepare for today. I gotta prepare for this week, starting today, right? And like we popularly say, right, to be able to have a perfect week, you gotta finish it before you start it, right? So when I'm done sometime here, I'm gonna be writing what the work plan is for my fam, for what they're gonna do here in the farm, right? And also the construction we have going on there. I'm gonna look at my week as a whole and plan how it's gonna be, right? Tomorrow we get back on the everyday weekday prayer that we do, right? It's gonna be a 16th week starting tomorrow, so I gotta be thinking about the message. I gotta be thinking about time of prayer that we're gonna do, starting the 16th week, 16th round of weeks of prayer, So, but let's go into the meat. Let's go into the book itself, right? And that chapter, Bethany starts the chapter by saying, I'm gonna wear my glasses here. It says, business and life, like motherhood, fatherhood, right, are marathons, not sprints. We're in it for the long haul, right? You're in life for the long haul. You know, you know, like I say again, the time when I was born, I was just thinking today about my time at elementary school, and I left elementary school before my 11th birthday, and I did a lot of things, children today probably won't be allowed to do, but yes, back then things were not as difficult or as crowded or as the risks were different, than what it is today, and I did a lot of things I wouldn't allow my children to be exposed to today, but that was that time I will make the best of it, uh, looking through my teens, my 20s, looking through times when I thought that was it, I couldn't see tomorrow. But here I am, right, close to 40 years after, and I'm still pushing on, I've been through a lot in life, but I'm not there anymore. I'm here. So everything I've been through, it's lesson for me to help me today to make it this to live today and also live tomorrow. Live today, conquer today, and be prepared to conquer tomorrow. I don't live in my yesterday. I don't live in my tomorrow. I live in my today. Right? That's important. So it's life is what it is, right? Life is not smooth. Life comes with its challenges. I was just thinking about this weekend yesterday, out here we had an election, right? And we had an election, a local state election, yesterday, and some 3 weeks ago, we had one for the federal government, and I pretty much am rooted, for the ruling party, but there are people that don't like that because they seem to have their own agenda. And instead of respecting other people's opinion and where they stand, they think that if you're not for them, you're against them. That's called manipulation. That's called witchcraft. And you're going to see a lot of that, as you go through life. A lot of people that not uh, they're not confident, or they're not content in themselves, and they feel that they have to lead their life through other people. So if other people don't agree with them, they feel offended, just because of your decision, not necessarily because you're against them. And that's not the way to live. They want to conquer everybody. That's witchcraft. That's manipulation. That's devilish. That's from hell. And someone like me, you wouldn't get me, because I'm anti-witchcraft. I'm anti-manipulation. So I have no problem. So a lot of them feel they are arrayed against me, or they think I'm arrayed against them. They have this victim mentality, and all of that is manipulation, and there's some things you're going to see in the stream of life, Yeah, so you have to be prepared not to be conquered by other people's uh other people's evil or heal, to be conquered by witchcraft is to lose your destiny, is to become a servant to lowly things, right? So you need to guide your heart, you need to guide your life, and not allow any of these people to have their way in your life, right? Some of the things you face in the stream of life, and Bethany in the book was just giving an example also of how people have challenges in life and how they overcome. And I think they have a discussion with the CEO. I'm not sure I spelled his name correctly. I wrote 9, but I think it's an autocorrect that is giving that 9. I think his name is Nerim. Let me just confirm that. Nerin. I got that. It spells it as 9, but it's not 9. His name is Nerin. Right. That's a problem with spell check, right? And they had issues, they had challenges like every other person going through the COVID period, right? And because they're into bread, their locations were not accessible, during the period, and that affected their sales, right? And possibly locations also, some were shut down. The key thing is that they survived through it, the way we all of us should be able to survive through the issues of life, and a conversation with the CEO, she brought out some things on how to face the issues of life from that conversation. So the first thing he said is that our mindset was, talking about how they overcame the COVID challenge, says their mindset was, how can we use this unprecedented event as a catalyst to become better, stronger, and establish greater trust with our stakeholders? They had a challenge. Rather than being defeated by the challenge, the question they had was, how can we use this challenge? And that's critical, right? When you face challenge in life, and that's one thing I have learned, I'm learning, and I'm applying. When time I have a challenge in life, not to be overcome by that challenge, not to be overwhelmed by that challenge, but to ask, what is the seed here? What was the seed here? How can I use this challenge, to increase, to become a better person, right? We're here to use life, right? life was created for us. We're not created for life. God intentionally created us and provided all that we need to succeed. We were created to succeed. We were not created to fail. We were created by our Creator to succeed. So everything that comes against us in life is another tool, another seed that we can use to become what we were created to be and to do. Right. And I love the way Napoleon Hill puts it. He says, every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal and greater benefit. And that's what's similar to what I had to deal with right this weekend and all this election period, especially yesterday, because a lot of people came at me, and I've been this road before, right? So I'm expected to be better having been through this road before, because when it comes to electioneering period or in anything at all, I am an opinionated person, right? If I believe in something, I'll put the whole of my being into it, unless I am convinced otherwise, right? I am not deaf. I listen, right? But you need to come with a strong you need to come with your strong points, right? I don't think you can shout me down or you can manipulate me, right? So I get into the circumstance where I got into difficult conversation with people and I don't back down, right? Because I stay with my points, right? But the way you stay with it is important, right? And staying with your point, you still want to do it in a matured way, a way that you'll be proud of you if you're looking at yourself in a movie, right? Yes, Pastor, if you play that incident again, you want to be able to say, I did well. You want to be proud of the way you handled issues. You don't want to be a servant of the situation of the moment. You don't want to be enslaved by the discussion. You don't want to be conquered by the situation. Right? That's not the right way to live. It's living above the situation, living above the circumstance, living above the challenge. That is the way champions ride, right? So it's like catching the wave, right, of the moment and surfing rather than sinking in the discussion or what is going on. So I can say that I was proud of myself, and I'm proud of myself the way I'm carrying myself through this period. If not allow my emotions, to have the better of me, right? It's just one of the other things of life. So I'm practicing the things I've learned. I practice the things I'm teaching and practicing for better tomorrow. Because when I can handle this, then I can handle bigger things. God can entrust me with bigger things, right? If you seek a bigger audience, then you must learn to handle it, right? So I got to handle a big audience, right? Through yesterday, through all the electioneering period, I was busy on my marriage platform, and we're rubbing minds on a particular topic, and we had a good engagement doing that, and I'm learning. You have to learn how to rub people the right way so you can be a blessing to them, irrespective of the circumstance you find yourself. Sometimes that means you have to get yourself away from some specific toxic people. And that's what I did, for people that come in with a lack of respect. I don't need to waste my time with people who have nothing, who are not interested in growing, so all part of